What's the deal with Bonfire Night? Let's find out. Hi everyone, it's me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alanna and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living here in the UK for the last nearly 8 years. And today we are talking about Guy Fawkes Night. Now here's the thing, North Americans do not know what Bonfire Night is. It's one of those holidays that never made it across the pond. It's like a cultural black hole. So when I moved here, Bonfire Night every November, it was a surprise. Very much so. But I realized that I didn't really know the history of Bonfire Night or like the real details of how this started, how everyday people celebrated Bonfire Night and how it's turned into what we see today. Just a quick side note, all of the videos we are going to watch today will be in the video description. So when this video finishes, and I really hope you guys like it, please check out the original content. This reaction video would not exist without the original content, without the original creators. So please, when this video is done, show them some love. Anywho, what's the deal with Bonfire Night? Without further ado, let's go. All right, if we're gonna start with the history, which is really the thing that I'm most excited about, most interested in, because I really don't know. Let's start here, the crazy history behind Bonfire Night in England.
Rewind a few hundred years. It's 1604. King James I and the Protestant Church of England have made life pretty much impossible for the Catholics. Desperate for change, a group of radical Catholics secretly bands together and takes an oath to dethrone King James and end Protestant rule by any means necessary. These guys aren't...
Not to make light of this, because, you know, a lot of heavy themes here. Where did they get their costumes? Because that hat and these cape situations are divine. Okay, so we're oppressed. We're going to fight back against the king. Sounds great.
Aren't messing around either. Their plan? Kill the king and the members of the Houses of Parliament. The conspirators include a man named Guy Fawkes, a seasoned war veteran.
Okay, another real quick little interjection. Again, the hat. Do we think that hat is accurate? The sheer volume on that? I need one.
Who's ready to die for the cause. They rent a storage room directly below the House of Lords and pack it with 36 barrels of gunpowder.
Okay, another real hot take. Renting space under the House of Lords. I wonder why that was a thing. I feel like letting the public near government institutions in such way already kind of seems like a bad idea, but maybe because this hadn't happened yet, people were like, yeah, sure, you want to rent storage space under the House of Lords? Yeah, that'll be 2 shillings. I don't know what shillings are. Is that a lot or not much?
They use stacks of firewood to camouflage the explosives. With the gunpowder in place, Fawkes volunteers for the operation's most dangerous and critical assignment. When Parliament is called into session, Fawkes will light the fuse.
Also, love, I don't want to say, the, how do I describe this? The using firewood to hide the barrels. This just makes me wonder, what was in the other, like, storage areas? Like, what did people store under this House of Lords? I realize this is not, like, the point of Guy Fawkes Night or Bonfire Night. It's like, I wonder what other people stored. But these guys are renting a storage shed in the middle of London, seemingly for firewood. Okay. That checks out.
The plot to blow up the government hits its first snag when the opening of Parliament is delayed due to an outbreak of the plague.
Okay, that sucks.
So, Guy Fawkes leaves the explosive stockpile unattended and prays the plan remains a secret. Unfortunately, one of his co-conspirators breaks ranks and sends an anonymous letter to a government official, warning that Parliament was going to receive, quote, a terrible blow.
Snitches get stitches.
The day before the opening session of Parliament, news of the imminent threat reaches King James.
Hold on. The crown? It's a nice looking crown. Where'd they get that? You guys don't really have a lot of costume shops here in the UK, probably because you don't like Halloween as much as I do. I'm a Halloween girly. I'm from North America. It's just a thing that we do quite well. Every October, it's all about Halloween. I know Halloween's not very big here. A lot of people say, ooh, it's too American. Live a little. It's a lot of fun. But I wonder where they get these props, because not that Discovery UK is going to a commercial costume shop, but I just realized like that doesn't really exist here. If you guys have a favorite costume shop, like you don't have Spirit Halloween or Value Village. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we're getting off topic. Basically, he finds out about the plans. That sucks. Well, it doesn't suck for him, I guess.
Search of the area. Within hours, his men find Guy Fawkes in the room directly below the House of Lords.
Uh-oh.
Fawkes says his name is John Johnson, and
John
the pile of firewood
Johnson
he's guarding belongs to his master. Amazingly, they take him at his word.
Oh my God. Can you... Now, obviously, we do know that this plot doesn't go ahead. There's no history lesson on the time that Parliament blew up, because it hasn't happened, knock on wood. Can you imagine that they really did take him for his word, and then this really did happen? How bad would you feel if you were one of those guards? I think you would have to just move. Change your name and move.
It's just before midnight on November 4th, 1605, and Guy Fawkes is just hours away from igniting a stockpile of gunpowder intended to wreak havoc on England's oppressive Protestant government. But King James orders his soldiers to return to the basement and once again question the man guarding the store of firewood.
I wonder if those
Fawkes
guards
is
got
still at
fired.
his post. They take a closer look at the woodpile and make a shocking discovery: the hidden barrels of gunpowder.
Obviously, guys, my
God.
God.
The men take Fawkes into custody and bring him before the king. Maintaining his loyalty to the cause, Fawkes declares that he acted alone, defiantly adding, "I wanted to blow you back to your Scottish mountains." While the king is impressed by Guy's fortitude, he still wants the names of his co-conspirators. He orders
Scotland
Fawkes
is a beautiful
thrown into
country.
a cell below the Tower of London. Fawkes withstands 3 days of torture before he starts giving up names.
3 days of torture, honestly, I think is like
In the following
fair.
weeks, all the collaborators in the plot
Look at this hat. All of the hats. Sorry.
are hunted down.
Okay, so this is interesting. Obviously, I knew Guy Fawkes' name because we call it Guy Fawkes Night or Bonfire Night. Sorry, I'm not actually British. Slip of the tongue. But interestingly, I didn't know any other names. 2 Wrights. I wonder if they're brothers. Brothers! It's just fascinating that none of these guys have any sort of long-lasting historical relevance. Maybe that's not the right word, but do you know what I mean? Like, British people, did you know that these were the names of the other guys? Because I certainly never... If you showed me these names, I would have been like, okay, cool. Don't know who that is.
Those taken alive are brought to trial, and the judge shows no mercy. The men are ordered to be hanged, but not to death. After squirming on the noose, they're then to be drawn and quartered in the public square.
Oh, Brits, come on now. Is that necessary? I mean, I guess if you were trying to blow up Parliament, they probably thought it was necessary. Sorry, that's not funny. Is it? Maybe not. Okay, I'm gonna cut that last little bit out because I don't know how YouTube feels about this sort of content, if you will. Basically, I didn't know. Did you guys know that rather than facing that horrible, horrible fate, Guy Fawkes very sneakily jumps off the platform and breaks his own neck so he doesn't have to go through that horrible ordeal, which honestly, fair. That was probably very smart. We're gonna cut the footage out though because it's a little bit grim and I don't know how YouTube feels about that. Also, I'm gonna cut that last bit out. They put Guy Fawkes' head on London Bridge, which, can you imagine just like you're going to work, right? You work in London, you go to work and there's like just like a guy's, anyway, grim.
The king then decrees the observance of the 5th of November Act, an annual celebration of his thwarting of the plot to take down Parliament. In the years that followed,
so he makes it a holiday, maybe it's not the right word, but the king makes it like, we're going to celebrate this day and we're going to celebrate the fact that Guy Fawkes failed, which is interesting because I know the opposite to be true. Hold on, maybe they'll talk about that.
Holiday revelers burned effigies of the Pope and other religious figures to uphold the anti-Catholic sentiment of the time. It wasn't until the 18th century that Guy Fawkes himself really took center stage, when children began carrying effigies of him. And for many, the festival gradually became an event that honors a fearless rebel who died for his cause.
Okay, so one thing that I kind of disagree with it that they sort of touch on in this video is that originally the celebration of this event was because, haha, Guy Fawkes failed and the government reigned supreme. And then they're kind of saying that eventually it turned into a celebration of rebellion, of like anti-government, and British people now celebrate it as a celebration of Guy Fawkes and like the underdog, the rebel, you know, standing up to establishment. My humble opinion is this holiday, from my understanding, and as a British person, leave your comment down below, it's much more about a tradition than it is maybe about the message. Humble opinion. So like for me, I celebrate Christmas. I love Christmas. I love decorating the tree. I love making everything really cozy. I love giving presents to people. I am not religious. I am not Christian. I don't believe in the man upstairs. Do you know what I'm saying? But I love Christmas. I'm not celebrating the birth of Christ, right? So that holiday for me is more of, it's just a tradition that I like. I like doing all the little bits, but the message doesn't really mean anything to me. Humble opinion. I think Guy Fawkes Night is very much like that for a lot of Brits. Again, leave a comment down below. Why do you celebrate it? A lot of Brits that I know and the kind of vibe that I get is it's a fun tradition. You do it with your family, maybe the community. You're not necessarily celebrating the government surviving. You're not necessarily celebrating the rebel who tried to overthrow the government. It's less about the message, and I think it's more about it's tradition, it's fun, it's time to spend with friends and family. Do you know what I mean? That's my humble opinion. But I feel like I've learned a lot from this. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming this is fairly accurate. Discovery UK. Link in the description. Check it out if you want to watch the rest of the video. There's some other bits about like how it's celebrated today, but let's move on to the next clip. Now, I did see this Guy Fawkes Day explained. I wonder if there's anything different here. We're just gonna have just a little nose, you know what I mean? Just a little bit. Oh, we have to read it. Okay. So 1605, a group of Catholic men planned to murder the King of England on the 5th of November. Checks out. We actually have already seen this image because the hats. I really love these hats. We actually could just mute this if we're just reading it. Okay, so they're gonna murder the king. Yep, that checks out. Guy Fawkes, yes. At midnight, he was caught under the Parliament building with 36 barrels of gunpowder. Now, if we have any like historians in chat or people who are interested in history, that to me seems like a lot of gunpowder. Would that have been easy to procure in 1605? Is that something that's just like lying around? Were these men in like businesses that allowed them access to gunpowder. Like that I would find very interesting. People love to quote the 36 barrels though. That is a lot. But how did they get it? Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's just me. He was tortured and executed. Okay, so we skipped a little bit. He was ultimately caught, tortured, and executed. Yet we did know that bit. And then the religious undertones. So that was kind of the thing that I didn't really understand between like Catholics and Protestants and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of that history here, obviously. It's not really something that you learn in just regular school back home. Our Canadian history classes are kind of funny in that, like, we do learn a little bit about the UK because obviously British people came over to Canada. We also learn a little bit about the Aboriginals who were already there in Canada. So you kind of get like a little bit of both on either side. But obviously the amount of history in the UK is just deeply wild. You can't learn that in just a run-of-the-mill history class in high school. Do you know what I mean? I will say the effigy stuff was really surprising to me. So I remember when I first moved here, I'd never heard of Guy Fawkes Night, never heard of Bonfire Night. Again, it does not happen in North America, only if maybe you're British and moved over there, or your parents are British. Like, you'd have to have a really close tie to the UK to celebrate it over the pond. Does that make sense? And when I came here, and I've never actually seen somebody do the effigy, but I had heard about it. Wild. Really, truly wild. You've got kids, like, carrying a body that's burning, and I don't know if they really understand what's going on, but I do as an adult. You're just like, whoa. We're like building a fake body to set alight. Wild. I will say this, when the Brits celebrate something, they really do. And I respect that. Now, I would like to see one of the crazier Bonfire Nights celebrations. So every town, village, city, you know, does something a little bit different. In Kent, the biggest one I went to Leeds Castle one year for the fireworks. And that was pretty fun. Everybody loves fireworks, right? Except animals and anyone suffering PTSD. So maybe not everyone. But when I was looking for some videos that we could watch to learn more about the history, more about how it's celebrated across the UK, God, I should have Googled how to pronounce that.
Lewis.
Let's do it slow.
Lewis.
No, let's do it fast.
Lewis.
You know what? Every day's a school day. I'm learning a lot today. Anyway, Lewis came up a lot because I guess you guys have one of the largest. Can I say the largest? Anyone from Lewis here? Please tell me. What is it like? Maybe one year we can go to it. I don't even know where this is. Hold on. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so we've got Kent. Lewis is down here. I could have sworn it was Northern. And I think that's just because I feel like Northerners are more theatrical, and this is very, very theatrical. Anyway, let's get back to it. So I found this video. Let's give it a play. God Save the Queen, RIP. So this is Lou's Bonfire Night 2019. It's going to be, again, linked in the description. Bristow Bonfire. Thank you very much for uploading it. This is a solid nearly 40 minutes of what their celebration is like. The amount of effort that has gone into this is wild. Look at this. I wonder if anything accidentally gets set on fire during this time. Absolutely crazy. Okay, that's kind of scary. Again, I respect the theatrics. If you've been to this Bonfire Night, let me know. Wow. Imagine you lived up here and you took a nap and you're like, I'm gonna be ready for bonfire night later. I want to be well rested, and then this is what wakes you up. So of course, also fireworks. So in my understanding, you get some fireworks, you get fire, maybe a bonfire. I used to live in a village that would have just a giant bonfire, but we didn't have fireworks. So I guess it just kind of depends on like what your town or village is willing to do. Everybody loves a bit of fireworks, but fireworks is kind of like, everyone knows what fireworks looks like. This is the stuff that I'm most interested in because I've never seen anything like this. Oh, that's fun. I think there would be something so thrilling about just carrying fire down the street. All right, let's we'll jump around just to kind of have a little look-see. Okay, that's kind of scary. Oh, Borough Bonfire Society. That's fun. Look at the costumes. Oh my god, those kind of look like Mounties. One of the things that I talk about a lot in my videos is I love the history here. So I live in the UK. I'm pretty sure we've already spoken about that. I love the history here. You know, it's not all good history. All right, we know that. But I appreciate the fact that so many of these historical traditions are kept alive. And it's not easy. This stuff costs money and a lot of planning and volunteers and time and effort and all that kind of stuff. And I really do appreciate that towns and villages across the UK bother, you know, because you're able to keep some really quirky and interesting and unique historical traditions alive. In Canada, where we are kind of a funny nation in that the Aboriginals who were there long before anybody else have their own traditions, but of course I'm not Aboriginal, so I don't celebrate those things or know about those things. For, you know, my family, we don't necessarily have anything this old. Do you know what I mean? So like as someone from like a new, if you can call it like new country, that's probably not the right way to describe it. I find this stuff so interesting. Well, everyone, I feel like I learned a lot today. I hope you did too. You want to share, what does Bonfire Night mean to you? Leave a comment down below. If you would like to watch more, definitely check out this video when I tried to figure out what Blue Peter is. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!